computer. All right, so I'm just going to run through a couple of tidbits and details and information and things like that, and then I will hand it over to Ashley Locklin, who I'm excited to hear from. So crazy big news. We have 2 coaches on our team who achieved elite this year. Yours truly, which just so you know, that's a dang miracle. If you go to my Facebook, you'll see why. And then Raina Odell, yay! And what's funny, I feel like every year Raina and I are like right at the same exact rankings. So this year Raina is number 32 and I was number 34. 2 years ago we were 6 and 7, and then last year I think we're like 10 and 13. So it's pretty cool. I am one of Raina's biggest fans, so I'm like, yeah, go girl. So yeah, very exciting, and I'm sure there's plenty of other rank advancements that happened this week that we need to go over, but just check into our team page for that. So big news, 80-day obsession coming out in just 10 days. So I hope you guys are getting everyone locked in and ready with their packs to get going with you guys. Some of you guys have been asking me, how do people get into the coach test group? Well, you'll get an email from Beachbody if you buy a completion pack as a coach. So if you're hopping on and you don't know what that is, basically Autumn is running her very own test group with the coaches in the network. And in order to do that, you need to buy a completion pack and you need to be a coach. So gosh, it's been a while since I've actually hosted our call. So I'm excited to see all your beautiful faces. I think that's it. Not a lot going on. This week we've got on our calendar coming up, let's see here, Super Saturdays this weekend. So make sure that you look into your online back office, look for live events, and get your Heine to Super Saturday. Guys, I cannot be more serious when I tell you that my business was born at a live event. Like Beachbody was this thing, this cool little side habit project thing that annoyed the crap out of my husband, and I just kept doing it. And then I get to this live event where I meet all these amazing women that have done what I want to do and are doing it and are real and tangible. And then I meet representatives from the company and it becomes real for me. And within weeks, months, I was hitting Success Club, building my team, get to a live event, get to Super Saturday, drive to it. If it takes you an hour, 2 hours, a whole day to get there, it's flipping worth it, you guys. It's absolutely worth it. So we also have Coffee Talk coming up on the 8th at 9 a.m. Central Time. And then, of course, our live Getting Started Right call is going to be on the 10th at 7 p.m. And then next week, the 11th, we're doing a business opportunity webinar. Bree Holland and I are going to be hosting that. So start putting that little bug in people's ears. What I suggest is going into your challenge groups and talking to your customers about the discount, about the coaching opportunity, about, hey, why don't we get together and run and host your own virtual boot camp or challenge group or wellness community, whatever you want to call it. So, okay, so that's it from me. I am going to go ahead and announce Ashley to the call. So Ashley and I met in Ohio. We both spoke at the Super Saturday in Cleveland, and that was the first time I met Ashley, and I loved her presentation. And for those of you who have been in my leadership calls and things like that, you know that I was totally geeking out over Ashley's Facebook page because it was just so, how do I describe this? It was a breath of fresh air, basically. She's kicking ass this year and she's using this Facebook like page and she's finding success from it, where other people are saying there's no success in a Facebook like page. I personally have success with Facebook like page. That's where I really have grown a lot of my business. So to see another coach coming up in rank and growing in income, growing a business, and utilizing a Facebook like page with success really inspired me. And so I've been an avid follower of Ashley's. Ashley is a 5-star diamond, and I believe today she found out she was an elite coach. Was this your first time? Yay, congratulations. So exciting. Ashley's also like a major recruiter, rock star Success Club point earner, and also a new mom. So there's that. And that's amazing. So I'm going to go ahead and unmute Ashley, and I'll let you take it away.
Thank you so much, Anita. Hi, everyone. I am like so nervous to talk to you guys because you are like, Anita and Raina are like legends. So it's like, I'm totally not worthy to talk to you guys, but I will share what I have done this past year. So I like to just give a little background and then I'll get into the presentation. But, last November, December, it was like struggling to hit Success Club. I was working my full-time job. I wanted to leave desperately. And so I just was like, okay, I will do whatever it takes. And I started to really go all in. And that really created some crazy momentum for me. And in December of last year is when my business really took off. And it was the end of December. So I always tell people like the end of the year is so critical. In that last week of December last year, I got 58 Success Club points. And then that has just continued. So every single month in 2017, I was, getting 75 to 100 Success Club points and a ton, 20 to 30 coaches. And then I was able, obviously, to retire from my full-time job. And then today I learned that I hit Elite for the first time and I ended at number 14, which was like, I never went into the year expecting. I was like, maybe if I get into like the top 100, that will be good. So to be at 14 is really, really crazy. And it's funny, my success partner is Holly Hillier, and she ended up in the top 10 this year. And we do everything together. So it's very much like Anita and Raina. So all year we were close. So I'm super excited for her. But I want to share with you exactly what I did in terms of recruiting in order to get to the number 14 spot. And Holly does the exact same thing, and that's what got her into the top 10. So hopefully you can walk away with something here that's going to help you. So let me share my screen. Let me go back. Oh my gosh, sorry guys, I can't see my cursor. There we go. Okay, we'll start here. Can everybody see that? Can you give me a thumbs up? Yes, okay, perfect. All right, so recruiting like a rock star. So first I want to give you a little self-assessment here, and I want you to just silently write this down. How are you in terms of recruiting coaches? Are you brand new, never recruited anyone, or are you consistently adding 5 or more of your dream team coaches? Are you somewhere in between there? So take a moment, just write that down and see where you are. Keep that in mind as we go through this. And, I want you to then look at this because wherever you fell on that first self-assessment, I want you to kind of look at these. So is it because you don't believe in the coaching opportunity? You don't believe in yourself, and so you're scared and you hold back? You don't want to recruit coaches because then you have to train them? You don't know who you want to attract. You're still waiting to find you and to find your tribe. Or do you just not take enough action? So for each of those, kind of write, do you strongly disagree or agree? And so whatever you wrote, I guarantee that either one of those things or all of those things are holding you back from being the coach that you want to be. So first I want to just talk about the word recruitment, because I know that a lot of people say, ooh, I don't like to use the word recruitment. I like to use the word growing my team or expanding my team. And I think that's just so silly, right? It all starts with your mindset around this word. So when I hear the term recruitment, I think of high school athletes getting recruited by colleges and receiving scholarships that are going to change their lives. I think of sorority recruitment in college when a group of women say, hey, we like you. We want you to be one of us, right? That's an honor. And then I think about job recruitment. So my husband is in IT. He's a computer programmer. And every day he wakes up to messages from recruiters saying, hey, Sean, we saw your skill set on LinkedIn and we have this job and it has these amazing benefits and we think you'd be a really great fit. He doesn't get annoyed by those emails. He's like, damn straight, I have this skill set and yeah, that job looks like a good opportunity. So I approach recruiting to the coaching opportunity with that same mindset of, this is a gift that I want to pay forward to other people. I don't think of it as icky or salesy at all. And I feel like I am not doing a good enough job of actually sharing this with enough people, to be honest with you. So it all starts with your mindset and how you're approaching it. So the first thing you need to do is you have to believe in the coaching opportunity. And I know it gets easier as you coach for longer and you get more coaches. And at the beginning, you're like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, but you just have to believe, and you have to share what coaching has done for you relentlessly and unapologetically. The more you share, the more people are going to be intrigued and interested. And so if you're a new coach and you're like, well, I am still working a full-time job, Ashley, and I'm not making that much money, like my paycheck was $14 this week, I want you to look at those who've gone before you. Look at Anita, look at Raina, look at their success stories. And if you aren't motivated by that, I mean, I don't know, gosh, what could possibly motivate you? So when I was a brand new coach, I looked at Lindsay Matway and Amy Silverman and Anita's video is one of the first ones I watched as a new coach on how to plan her month. And I knew, like, if they could do this, I could do it too. So I never once doubted the coaching opportunity. And I think that's where a lot of people get caught up. They ask, I can always tell when coaches are sending me a bazillion questions like, oh, is coaching going to interfere with my taxes? I'm like, well, who cares if you have to pay a little bit more in taxes or you have to save a little bit more in taxes if it's going to change your whole life? Like, stop being so ridiculous, right? So anyway, what you need to be sharing publicly about the coaching opportunity and privately are these three things. Number one, your physical successes. So is coaching helping you to be more on track, more accountable? Is this the first time that you've completed 5 workouts in a day in 1 week? Is this the first time that you've started the new year and you didn't have 10 extra pounds to lose? Like, what are those small victories? So for me, I hate working out. I'm not a fan of fitness. So I talk about that all the time, about how I don't love working out, but I treat it like a daily discipline. And I get a lot of people who are like, oh, I never thought of it that way. And I say how coaching, I get paid to work out, so I have to do it. And then a lot of people are intrigued by that. So what are your physical successes? What are your emotional successes? Has this given you confidence? Has it helped you get through a depression or a dark time, or just made you realize what your passion is and that you are worthy of more and that there's something else out there, right? When I started as a coach, I only started as a hobby. I just wanted to earn a little extra money. I was loving my teaching job. But then when I started to do the personal development of coaching, I was like, holy shit, like I deserve way more than this like $30,000 salary I'm getting to bust my ass as a teacher. And that's something I share a lot now. And that really helps me to recruit other people. And because they kind of have that aha moment, like, oh yeah, there is more out there for me. And then the financial successes. So now it's easy to share, what it has done for me. But at the beginning, I put it into terms that people understood. And so maybe you earned $14. Well, you can say that bought you a really expensive jar of peanut butter that you really wanted to buy at the grocery store, right? For me, I love going to the grocery store and buying those really fancy different peanut butters, but they're damn expensive, right? And if I didn't have this coaching income, I would walk right by them and be like, there's no way I can afford that. But so if you want to attract the right people who want those peanut butters, right? If that's your kind of person, then you want to be sharing that you have this little extra income that's helping you to do that, or being able to buy all of your Christmas gifts or your, Father's Day gifts or Mother's Day gifts, those types of things. So every month I would put my income into terms that people understood. And those were really honestly more relatable than me now being able to be like, I'm a 6-figure earner, right? That's like so far off, but people really related to the smaller victories. And I shared my vision a lot in private messages. So I didn't want to publicly be like, I'm going to quit my job. So privately, when I was talking to people, I'd say, I'm on track to leave my job, and I think you would really love this opportunity too. I'm on track to be a 6-figure earner. So I would plant those seeds in private messages. I shared my vision. Even if that week I only made $18, I still told people this is what I'm going to do. And that was enough to kind of get them wondering, like, really? Like, you can earn that much money? Like, that's a real opportunity. Okay, I'm interested. I think I want to do this with you. So that's believing in the coaching opportunity, which is really important. If you don't believe in the coaching opportunity, you're not going to be able to get anybody else on board. But you really have to believe in yourself as well. And I see a lot of coaches not recruit other coaches because they're like, well, I'm not ready. I don't know how to train anybody. You have to remember that this is a build the plane as you fly it kind of gig. You learn by doing, not by sitting there and reading all the FAQs and all of the coach training website that you have. You will learn when you actually recruit someone. And if you want to be a better coach, I hear this a lot. They're like, well, I am not, I don't get enough Success Club points. If you want to be a better coach, you will sign up more coaches, because then you have to lead from the front. You have to be setting that bar high. And I think that's the one thing that Holly and I have done really well this year, is that we made sure that our coaches always saw us hitting high Success Club numbers. And because that inspired them to hit higher Success Club numbers. There was one month, it was like October, and it was like October 24th, and we were both like at SC40, and we were like, okay, we can't just end the month at SC40, like we have to up our game. And in that 1 week, we both got like 50 Success Club points, because we were like, we have to show our teams what is possible. And that inspired them to do so much more. So we really just put that fire underneath us, because we were like, we have to show up for our teams. We have to show them what they can do. And in turn, they all became very high Success Club point earners as well. And you have to break those limiting beliefs. So I remember thinking like, I could never recruit a ton of coaches and handle them. Like, how do they would slip through the cracks? How do you make time for that? But it's really just a limiting belief that you have to work through, and you have to develop a different system or a different process. And I still deal with limiting beliefs. Like, to be honest with you, in November, I was like, you know what, I'm happy with 14. I'm just going to like be cool here. Whereas Holly's like, no, Ashley, like we got to go for top 10. And I'm like, I'm pretty good here. Right. And those are limiting beliefs that I need to work through, because a lot of times I get close to a goal and then I'm like, that's good enough. But whatever you have, I want you to just consciously work through those. And so you have to do that through PD, obviously. And I'm going to talk a lot about Grant Cardone. He's like my favorite person. So Be Obsessed or Be Average. If you haven't read that, I highly recommend that. And then I'll talk about some of his other books as well. But now that you believe in the coaching opportunity, you believe in yourself, and know that you can lead others, you can train them, you can mentor them, and signing up coaches will cause you to be a better coach. You have to know who you want to attract. I think this is really, really important. Because at the beginning, it's so easy to just be like, I will take anybody. Like if somebody looks at me in the grocery store, like, oh, maybe they'll be on my team, maybe they'll be a coach, right? But you want to be very specific in your posts, in your invites, and when you're putting out who you're looking for, you want to be specific. So for a while, I was like, I don't want to specify that I want women. I will take anybody. And I know there are a lot of other teams out there who have men and women, but I don't know how to teach a man. Like the way I teach my team would be not how I would teach a man to run my business. So when I finally started to really hone in and say, I want this specific type of woman, that is when my world opened up and I got all the right people. And now I love my team. So you have to remember that you want to be specific. And if you're not being specific enough, people aren't going to feel like they relate to you. The more specific I am, the more messages I get from people who are like, oh my gosh, I feel like I could have written that post myself, or I feel so connected to you. And I don't have to do a lot of back and forths with them, because they already feel like they've developed that relationship with me through my posts, because I'm just very specific in what I'm sharing and what I'm saying I want from people. And it pushes people away that I don't want and that don't feel like they match that criteria. And that's, a good thing. But don't get caught up in the should. So at the beginning, when I was a coach, I tried to act like, oh, I love exercise because I'm a Beachbody coach and I have to love exercise. And I just came off as really fake, really, just not authentic. And then when I started to just really embrace my truth, that is when things just blew up and the magic happened. So don't think that you have to act a certain way or be a certain type of coach or person. Just be you, and those people out there will connect to you. So your social media is your storefront, and you have to open your doors. So you have to be asking people for You're hiring, you're looking for coaches. And I hear this a lot. People say, I don't want to annoy my followers by posting too much about coaching. And I'm like, that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Because if you opened a coffee shop, you would never say, you know what, I don't want to bother my neighbors. I'm not going to open my doors every day, right? I'm not going to put a help wanted sign outside or put a now hiring ad anywhere because, that might annoy people. No, for the right people, they're going to see that and they're going to want to be a part of it. It's kind of like when you want to buy a red car and all of a sudden you start seeing all of those red cars, you're more in tune to seeing those things. Well, the same is true with this. The people who want to see your coaching ad are going to see it. And the people who don't are just going to keep scrolling, and you don't need to worry about it. But you have to show up every single day, and you have to be consistent with putting that message out there of what you do and who you're looking for. But I personally, I'm a very big fan of creating curiosity, not resistance. So I don't know what you guys do, but I personally never use the word Beachbody, Team Beachbody, Beachbody on Demand, Shakeology, none of that. And I say I'm a lifestyle coach because I feel like that is less intimidating than health and fitness. And I'm teaching people way more than just health and fitness. I'm teaching them the whole lifestyle with personal development. I'm always talking about different mindset things and how to overcome different obstacles on my social media. It's not just health and fitness. So I brand myself as a lifestyle coach, which also is pretty kind of intriguing and mysterious and vague enough that people are like, what is it that you do? I say my Sweatflix or my Netflix of workouts, and I say my superfood shake or my mommy power punch instead of energize. And every single day I get messages saying, what exactly do you do? What is the recipe? What are these workouts? Where can I find them? If I was constantly blasting everyone with Beachbody, Team Beachbody, Shakeology, they would just keep scrolling because that's selling and they don't want to be sold to. So I create a lot of curiosity, and that's what works for me. And then what happens is a lot of people will say, I didn't even know you were selling anything. And then they are more likely to become coaches on my team, because what happens is a lot of people don't want to be coaches because their fear is that they're going to have to be salesy and they're going to have to annoy their followers and their friends. So what they do is they've seen how I'm doing it in a way that is not salesy, and they're like, okay, I could do that too because that's not salesy and I'm not going to annoy people. So then they're far more likely to join my team because they realize, okay, I don't have to be out there blasting, pictures of Shakeology everywhere. And you get what you post for. So if you want hardworking coaches, you have to post that you are a hardworking coach. So I often, I make sure in my Insta stories every morning at 5 a.m. when I get up to do my miracle morning, that's the first thing I do is an Insta story and show people like my hot mess at 5 a.m. Like, here's what I'm doing. And sometimes I'm up until 2 a.m. working, and I document like I'm still up at 2 a.m. and I'm going to get up in 3 hours. But this is the work that I do in order to have the freedom that allows me to be present with my daughter during the day. I just spent 2 weeks in France. I got back last night and I'm so tired because we got back at like 11 o'clock at night, and then my daughter woke me up at 3 a.m. because of jet lag, and I've been up all day. But I like documented that and shared like, okay, I'm traveling in France with my family, but I'm still working. I documented my miracle morning in France every morning. And in my posts, I talk about it all the time because I want women who are going to be hard workers. I'm not trying to sell this as a get rich quick thing. So I get people who are like, okay, I'm willing to wake up early like you, Ashley. I'm willing to stay up late like you. I'm willing to put in the work. So if you aren't sharing the hard work, you're not going to get people who are hard workers. And if you haven't created your avatar, you have to create your avatar. So I did this last fall right before my business boomed, because this is really what helped me to focus on who I'm trying to attract. My middle name is Taylor, and it's so weird. So my name is Ashley Taylor, and I actually have a coach named Ashley Taylor, and her birthday is the same birthday as me. How creepy is that? And then I have a ton of other girls on my team with Taylor somewhere in their name, either first name, middle name, last name. It's super creepy. But anyway, I want you to just sit down and really think about who it is you are trying to attract. What do they spend their money on? What are their struggles? And what can you help them overcome? Those are the main characteristics you want to think about when you're crafting your avatar. And every time you make a post, sit down and think of that person. I think of Taylor, and then I'm like, this is who I'm speaking to.
There a reason you can't say that?
And then this is my struggle web. So this is really, really beneficial. And this is just a snapshot of it. Really, I have like way more than this. Write down your struggles, because these are all stories that you need to be incorporating into your posts. And so I talk a lot about, right, how I hate exercise. I was a yo-yo dieter, a binge eater. And then when I talk about those things, I get a lot of women who message me or in coaching applications will say, I so relate to your story. I was the same way, right? Because I'm sharing those things. So the professional is someone's writing on the screen, and it's really funny. So the professional, I never wanted to talk about my student loan debt because I was like embarrassed. And then as soon as I started talking about student loan debt, I started to get a lot of other coaches who were like, I'm trapped by student loan debt and I don't want to work in this career anymore. Help me. And they're hard working coaches. And then my family history, right? I talk a lot about how like my parents they're addicts, and my mother didn't raise me. I was raised by my grandparents. And those are things I never shared in the whole first year and a half that I was a coach. And then last fall, when I started to begin sharing these things, that's when I got a ton of other people who are like, I have a similar family experience. And, they are just really, they have a vision for their life. They want more. And they're hard workers. So when you start sharing those struggles that you've had in your post, breadcrumbing them, you're going to start getting people who really connect with you on those deeper levels. And then that makes working with them so much more enjoyable, and they're go-getters like you. So lastly is take more action. So the 10X rule is like my Bible. I think I've listened to it 6 times now. Anytime I'm up late working, I just have earbuds in and I'm listening to Grant Cardone, even though I don't like his accent. No offense to anybody who's like in the South, but he like says words that are really odd. But anyway, and I just listened to Sell or Be Sold by him. Loved that as well. But anyway, take more action. You have to be doing more. So this is where I just ramped up everything. And I'm going to share with you how I took more action in just a moment. But more challenge groups, more invites, more posts, more sneak peeks. So let's talk about recruiting. So from challenge for 6 months, and my coach never invited me to the coaching opportunity. So for 6 months, I stalked her and her friends. And I was like, she isn't asking me to be a coach because like, I'm not blonde, I'm not super fit, I don't fit that mold. And finally, I asked her, I was like, can I learn more about coaching after 6 months? And I really regret not asking sooner. And I'm also kind of mad that she didn't ask me sooner, right? I'd be 6 months ahead. So I think about this all the time when I have challengers. Like, it is my duty and obligation to ask them, are you interested in coaching? Just to plant that seed, to let them know that they can do it. Because I would hate for them to be 6 months behind where they could be because I didn't invite them or ask them. But I also offer the discount opportunity. I don't sign up many people as discount coaches off the bat. I know a lot of other teams do that. I personally don't, but I do in the second week of our challenge group, I post this image and say, are you loving the discount? What would you do for $16 extra a month? And then I ask them, well, you could also be an active coach. Are you interested in that? And that's how I convert a lot of people. And then private invites. If you're sending 5 a week, you need to be sending 5 a day, right? Remember, this is a gift. This is a blessing that you have to pay forward, and you have to let other people know that it exists. And I think about that every day, right? We have a moral obligation to live up to our fullest potential, and we have been given this amazing opportunity. And why would we keep it to ourselves? Every day I wish that I would have learned about this sooner. Like, if I was a founding coach, like, I'd be so happy right now, right? I'm so far behind my goals, and I know I have to trust the timing of my life and all that stuff. But my point is, I wish that one of those founding coaches would have invited me 10 years ago. Like, I'm almost like pissed that I wasn't invited. So I always think about that when I send invites, is I have to invite this person. And then public posts. So this is really, to be honest with you, where all of my business comes from, because I just post relentlessly. So you want to post at least 3 times a week about coaching. And if you're not doing that, then you cannot expect to get any coaches. And you have to remember that what you say privately has to align with what you're saying publicly. So the number one thing that like makes me so gets under my skin is when people are like, well, I've been doing a lot of behind the scenes work and like sending private messages, but I'm not posting. And I'm like, well, then you're just wasting your time. Because when somebody sends you a message and says, oh my gosh, like I have found, the best thing in the world, you have to learn about it. the first thing you're going to do is look at their page and see if they're talking about it, right? Because when we find something we love, we talk about it. When we find a show we love, we tell people about it. When we find a recipe, we tell people about it. So if you love coaching and you're not talking about it publicly, then people are going to be like, well, what the heck is she talking about, right? They're going to be skeptical right off the bat. So you have to be posting publicly and inviting privately and sharing that message in both. So I'm going to give you some examples of my posts, and these are from August. I wanted to go back and give you old posts because if you go to my page now, you can see what I've been posting. So these are older examples, but this is 1 week of posts, so you can see what I did. And in this 1 week of posts, I think I signed like 16 coaches in 1 week, and these are all business builders, not discount coaches. I want to give you an idea of how I share the coaching opportunity. Okay, so this was, I need to move. Oops. Okay. I can't find my cursor again. Oh no. Okay, there we go. Your faces are all on the text, so I think I remember what this is. But anyway, Friday morning, I always make a coaching post, and here's where I said I am spending the day with my daughter, and I'm reading books with her. I grew up in a home without children's books, and so now I'm so thankful that coaching has given me the opportunity to provide her with her own library. And so here's where I ask the question. I say, what are your favorite children's books? Drop them below. And then if you're interested in learning about coaching, join my sneak peek group. So what happened was this post blew up, right? Because everybody wanted to share their favorite children's books. And so that got more reach, more exposure, more engagement. And I got a ton of people who joined my sneak peek group that week. This was later that day when I did a little live video and I just talked about how when I wanted to be a coach, when I told my husband I was signing up, he told me absolutely not. It's a pyramid scheme. It's a scam. And I did it anyway. And then I gave some advice on how to get your spouse on board, whether they want to go back to school or have another kid or whatever it was. So it was just adding value, but I was sharing my story there about coaching. This was Saturday morning. We had just booked our flights to go to the UK for the Beachbody launch. And I said I pulled an all-nighter, which I did. I literally stayed up all night on Friday night working on Beachbody stuff. And I shared that because I want women to know, like, yeah, it's great. I can fly to the UK and I can have this amazing life, but I'm putting in a lot of work. And that just showed that. This is a Monday morning post, which I always make a Monday morning coaching post because this is when people are at work and they feel like, okay, they can't button their pants after a weekend of indulging and they hate their jobs and they don't want to be there and they want to be at home with their kids or their dogs or whatever. And so I always hit with Monday morning coaching posts. And if you are still working a full-time job, you can definitely spin it where like it's Monday morning, but I'm so jazzed up to get home and work my other business and connect with other women. That excitement, people are gonna be like, really? Like it's a Monday and you can't wait to go home and do another job? Like that's gonna be intriguing to people. But anyway, I talked about Monday, how I get to wear whatever I want and I got to retire from my job and all those good things. And then if you want to join my sneak peek group, join here. This was later that night. I was speaking on Lindsay Matway's Bombshell Dynasty call. So I just talked about how I had a reason to actually look nice that day and, share the stage and speak on a big call. So I got to show that it wasn't just me sitting at home in yoga pants all day. I was getting ready for professional photos here. This was like a Wednesday. And I said my professional photos are actually my family photos, and here's a sneak peek. So later that day I showed this, that my daughter fell asleep. She demanded to be held the entire time we were at this photo shoot. And then she fell asleep in my arms, but I spun it and said, like, that's my brand. Like really for my workouts, every day I had to hold her throughout my workouts and modify my workouts, but I still lost 75 pounds after having her from doing that. So I share that a lot, and I get a lot of other women with clingy babies. But I said, this is my brand. How cool is it that I've been able to create such a magnificent business through my family? And that was very intriguing to a lot of women. And then this was Thursday, and I just said, I called my boss and I asked for the afternoon off, and she said, sure. And then I said, drop a picture of your little blessings below, right? People love to share pictures of their kids, and that creates a lot of engagement, a lot of reach, etc. And I said, I just wrapped up my sneak peek group and I'd love for you to join. Here's the link. This was a Friday morning. I was speaking at an event that night. So I said, I woke up early, I did some work, and now I'm swimming with my daughter, and then I'm going to go to this event tonight. And how cool is that I get to create my own schedule? So that was in 1 week. How many posts I made in 1 week about coaching. Not all of them had calls to action, but I'm consistently putting out there how amazing this is. So I want to quickly talk about, that's how I market coaching. Now here's how I actually get people to sign up. And I have 3 ways. So I'm going to go through these quickly because I don't know what time it is. Okay, we're good. Okay, so I have 3 ways that I get people to sign up as coaches. So all year in 2017, well, most of the year up until like November, I did weekly sneak peek groups. And I think Anita does something similar. But they were 3-day groups. I did live videos in these private groups. On Monday, I would do an overview and who I'm looking for, and that's where I set the standard of I am looking for women who are willing to put in the work, who are willing to make short-term sacrifices, who want more out of life, who want to be 6-figure earners, etc. And so that immediately like pushed people out or made them be like, hell yeah, I'm all in. Then Tuesday, I talked about the worries, the fears, and the misconceptions, and I have 8 of them, and they are: I'm not a health or fitness expert. I'm not at my goal weight or don't have weight to lose. I don't have a large network. I don't want to sell. I don't have time. I can't remember all of them right now. I don't have time. Is this a pyramid scheme? I am not that interesting. I think I'm missing one. But anyway, so I addressed those 8 things. And then later that day, I talked about all the money, how we earn money, how it costs to get started, all that kind of stuff. And then on Wednesday, I talked about spouse support, right? Because a lot of people are like, my husband's not on board. I'm like, well, are you a big girl? Or are you just going to, let him dictate your life? And I shared my story with that. And then I talked about the training and the mentorship that I provide and then the next steps. And I would bring, unlike today, because I'm so tired, I'm feeling like, I'm really not bringing the energy I normally bring for you guys. So I apologize. But in these sneak peek groups, I would get really pumped up before I would go in and do these live videos. I would listen to some Grant Cardone before I went in. So I'd be all pumped up, all jazzed. And, the feedback I always get is, wow, your energy is so contagious. Like, I have to do this. And that's how I would know if I succeeded, because I would go in and think, if I don't make them realize how amazing this is, I'm not doing a good enough job. So you have to bring the energy. You can't go in there and just be like, coaching is so amazing, like you should do it. Like, it's not going to sell people on it. You have to be excited. But then I would follow up with everyone who joined. And here's what really I think helped is in each group. So every week I started a new group. I did not use the same group. I would create a new group, and in that group, I would go post new coach announcements for anyone who joined. If they were in that sneak peek group, they would get a new coach announcement in our team page and in that sneak peek group, because then all the other people in that group would be like, oh, wow, like, look, 5 girls joined, like, maybe I should do this. It's legit. And then I'd go back and post their Emerald and their Success Starter recognitions in those groups as well, so that they were consistently getting these, like, notifications. Ashley Locklin posted in this group, and then they'd see that, oh, okay, these coaches are starting and they're having success quickly, so maybe I should do this. So that worked really well all year. I would get about 5 or more coaches a week out of those weekly sneak peek groups. But come November, I was like, okay, people really don't have time for this, and neither do I. So I took all of those 4 videos and I recorded myself doing them and put them into one video. So it was just a 1-hour webinar, and I send that to people. And so I don't know what I think I'm going to maybe do a mixture in January and try to figure out what's best now. So I'm still trying to tweak and improve, which we have to always be adapting and changing. So anyway, I love just being able to send them the 1-hour video and be like, here you go, watch this. The benefit is that I'm making them fill out an application in order to get the email. So I have their email and I have them on my weekly newsletter, and I'm constantly sending them other emails and whatnot. So that's the benefit. The problem with the sneak peek groups is, I could have them fill out an application to get into the sneak peek group, but that's like an extra step to get into a group. And usually I'm like, here's the link, join this group. And then I have like 60 people join, and it's too hard to ask them for their emails. So I'm just verbally telling you, thinking out loud. But anyway, so that's why I like having the 1-hour webinar, has all the info. They can rewatch it, pause it, go back, and I have their emails and I can continue to be in touch with them. And now here's option 3, and this is what really is really working for me right now. I've been doing a free group for potential coaches, and I call it a Girl Boss Apprenticeship. So Holly and I do this together, and it's a 7-day group. We have them sign up for the free trial of Beachbody On Demand. We run it like a challenge group. So every morning we give them a different workout to do, and then there's a post, and they post their sweaty selfie, and they tell us how their workout went. And then in the afternoon, we take turns doing a live video in the group, giving a coaching lesson and an assignment. So like day 1 is posting on social media, sharing, not selling. Day 2 is adding 5 friends, where to find those 5 friends, expanding your network. Day 3 is connecting with people who are commenting and liking your posts. And day 4 is personal development. And day 5 is, commenting on other people's photos, that kind of stuff. So every day they are building on the previous day. So like on day 3, they're doing day 1, 2, and 3's assignments. So they're getting used to being coaches without the pressure of hitting Success Club, going Emerald, making sales. So they're experiencing the fun part of it. They're doing the workout. They're feeling good. They're posting about it on social media. People are loving them and supporting them because they're not working from an agenda of selling anything. And so at the end of the week, they're like, I love this. I love the community that happened in this coaching group. And I love that I'm connecting with people. And you should see the messages that I'm getting from people. And so then they're very likely. So my conversion rate to that is like almost 100%. Like anybody who joins the apprenticeship signs up as a coach or signs up as a challenger. So that works really, really well. So I've been doing those like once a month because they're super, super successful. So my calls to action for you are: believe in the coaching opportunity and share it unapologetically. I mean, if you don't believe in the coaching opportunity, you're not going to get very far. So whatever doubts you have in your mind, you just need to push them aside and look at the success stories and know that you can be one too. Believe in yourself and step outside your comfort zone. Whatever limiting beliefs you have as to why you can't recruit people or you're not recruiting people, that's just bullshit. Stop telling yourself those lies. Develop your avatar and your struggle web and begin sharing your story consistently, deep parts of your story. People don't connect on that surface level, so you have to dig deep. Share the things that make you feel uncomfortable, that you're like, I don't really want to share this, but I'm going to share it anyway. That's when the magic is going to happen. And then talk about coaching at least 3 times a week, at least. I had a coach call me and was like, Ashley, I'm not recruiting anyone. And I look at her page and I'm like, I don't see anything about coaching for 2 weeks. She's like, yeah, I haven't been posting about it. And I'm like, well, that's why. Like, you can't expect to get coaches if you're not posting about coaching. And then most importantly, just take more action. Whatever you're doing, you can do more. Like, end of story. So listen to my man, Grant Cardone, and just do more. So I hope that helped you guys. I'll stop sharing and answer any questions that you guys have. Anita, are there any questions? I see.
Yeah, I'm having like a technical difficulty. Hold on one second.
So so for my sneak peek groups, I did a new one every week just because I wanted to keep track of people better that way. But for now, what I do with the one video is I created one Facebook group, and in that Facebook group, I have albums of like team events, our diamond retreat and summit and success club. So pictures of our team having fun, income images, and then other questions. So what happens when I send an email to someone with the video and they respond with a question, I'll go into that Facebook group and I'll do a live video addressing that question. So in the email that I send to people, I'm like, here's the 1-hour video and here's a Facebook group for more information if you're interested. So I have that like one hub going on right now. Caitlin, my new coach training is on Thinkific. It's a self-paced course. So it's just modules. So as soon as they start, it's very much like I know what Anita has. They can just get started right away. And the first module is like making your coming out post and getting started. And then it's the business, and then it's social media, and then it's getting to Emerald, and then it's, running your own groups and all that kind of stuff. But their first experience with me is like, okay, your goals, your 30-day goals are to hit Success Club, hit Emerald, and then in 90 days, your goal is to hit Diamond, which that doesn't obviously happen in 90 days often, but I want them immediately knowing that's what they need to be working towards. And Olga, yay for making your post. Lacey, they're spaced out each day. So Monday I do one video, and then Tuesday I do two videos, one in the morning, one in the afternoon. Wednesday I do one video. And then Jamie, I don't know, did you see that slide that I had? The avatar is your person that you want to talk to. It's like your ideal coach or ideal customer. And then the struggle web is like, a brainstorming map of all the struggles that you've had in your life. Emily, on my like page, I pay $3 a day to promote my page, and that pays off exponentially. So I get about 70 to 100 new followers a day from $3 a day. So it's so worth it. So I did the social team builder training. I know there are a ton of other trainings out there, but I did social team builder, and that was definitely worth it. So to put it into perspective for you, Holly started that training about 6 months before me, and she had success. And then I was like, okay, she was like, you should do this training. So I did it. It was $300. It's still $300. And I was like, okay, I'll make this investment, even though I really didn't want to. But that was like the best thing I ever did. And so she started 6 months ahead of me, and she has always had about 10,000 more followers than me. And so I'm like, that's the difference. So like, do it today. And Jessica, you loved Social Team Builder too. And then I'm terrible at Instagram. I have an Instagram, and I don't really like Instagram because I think it's so much more work with hashtags and trying to find people. But I know that like Raina rocks Instagram. So whatever platform you use, just stick with that. So like, for example, my Facebook page has like 40 some followers, and on Instagram I have 4,000 followers.
I have a question, Ashley.
Yeah.
You said that you were doing your sneak peek into coaching every single week. So 4 weeks out of the month, you were running sneak peeks.
Yeah.
How many people are you usually are in each group that you're running?
Usually between like 30 and 100.
Okay. And in those 3 days, so it's a 3-day sneak peek, what sort of information are you covering? Or are you doing those 7-day apprenticeships intermittently, like sneak peek, apprenticeship?
No, so the apprenticeship, I started doing those in October. So I've only done those in October, November, December. And those, in those, I had people watch the info videos separately. So like in that apprenticeship, I didn't go over the coaching details. I'm just like, if you haven't watched the info version, really so in order to get people into the apprenticeship, I went back through every single sneak peek group, right? So that's like 50 some sneak peek groups. And I was like, I'm hosting this apprenticeship group. If you liked the idea of coaching, but you're afraid because you don't know if you'd like it, you don't know if you'd be good at it, join me for a 7-day trial. So each month that I ran the apprenticeship group, I went back through every sneak peek group and I posted a video in there saying, here, join me. And so all those people had already watched the videos and they knew about coaching, and they were like, okay, I guess this is a great way for me to try it. And then after they tried it, they're like, I have to do this. But yes, I was doing a 3-day sneak peek group every week because I wanted to bring new energy and new excitement and have it just be fresh and have that engagement. And I polled a lot of my new coaches and I said, like, would you rather have a 1-hour video or would you rather have a group? And they said, we liked the group because then we saw other people in there and we feel like it was legit. But then at the end of the year, I was just like, people are too busy. Like my numbers were going down. I couldn't get as many people in and engagement wasn't there. So I was like, okay, I have to switch things up.
So you went from the 3-day group to the hour video.
Yes.
Year. Okay. And are you seeing more success with the hour video?
I don't know. It's hard to say. I'm not very good at tracking things, but like I am now just saying, if you're interested in learning about coaching, fill out this form and I'll email you. And so the other day, I mean, so far this week, I've maybe had 50 people ask for the video. But all my coach signups have been from the apprenticeship. So I just finished the apprenticeship. It ended on January 1st. So
Okay.
and I had 11 coaches sign up from that apprenticeship.
Wow.
So only the fourth, and I have 11 business builders who already, and here's another perk, is they've been posting about what they're doing and they already have people interested. So they sign up and they're like, all right, Ashley, I have 2 people who want to buy the 80-day Obsession Challenge pack with me. Like, how do I get them signed up? So they're already having success.
That's awesome. I love that idea.
Yeah.
All right. Carly has a question. Your $3 a day on FB, is that boosted post or Facebook ads?
It's a like page promotion. So there are all different types of campaigns you can run, and I run only like page promotion. So I do not run any other sort of ads. I don't boost posts. I only want to bring people to my page and then I hook them with my content. And then they're like, okay, I love this girl. I love what she's posting. And then they become lifers. And then they're like, and I'm constantly posting about coaching and I'm constantly posting about challenge groups. Every single day I have a call to action. Sometimes 2, sometimes it's join a challenge group and learn about coaching. Usually I alternate. So Monday will be, learn about coaching. Tuesday is always Transformation Tuesday, and it's about joining a challenge group. Wednesday is coaching. So I'm alternating. So every day that people are coming, they're seeing a different call to action, and they're joining me that way.
I love it. All right, we'll go ahead and wrap up since it's almost 9 o'clock. So from all of us to you, I'm so, so thankful that you were able to get on and share all this information. You're a rock star. And I know everyone here was very excited to hear what you had to share. I think because I was like talking you up on every team call. You have to check out Ashley's stuff. It's amazing. And I just love how genuine you are. So thank you very much for your time. And if anybody has more questions, I'll send them your way.
Thank you, everyone, so much. Thanks, Anita.
Thanks. Bye.